You okay?
All right, well, good morning, everybody. It's the end of our recording week here at Wake Up and Resell, Reseller Revenues Facebook group. But Thursday, it's Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. Central Time for us to meet together and record. Join the Facebook group if you would like to join us in the mornings and for the second half of this call. And we have several other calls. I think I added up last night. It was like 20 calls total we do during the week now. So 20 live Zoom calls. So plus the 24-hour rooms open all the time, and there's usually something going on in there. So um, I have figured out that I cannot minimize my screen when we are talking to one another. So it's hard for me to remember what the calls are today, but I'm going to give it a good shot. So I believe that our calls today are this one. And then follow this. We have the beginner call with Russell. He always hangs out and helps people out and elaborates on whatever we talk about in here. And then I believe it's Russell with the shoe call at 10 Central. And then at 11 Central, we'll have I'm just right now, I'm calling it serious sellers. We'll meet today and talk about it. It's like a people that are really gonna, be willing to share their numbers and take reselling really seriously and all that good stuff. And then 12, it's Marcia and Becky are doing like a work-life balance type call. So join them. And then at 3, it's Harry, which he's doing a really good, and I know I can't remember what it is. Harry, help me out. What your call is, because I blanked out. Oh, then he went away. Apparently he didn't want to talk to us. Um, I can't remember the name of it. I'm very sorry, but his is going to be really good. It's about sunk costs today. So that should be good for everybody. We can all learn about that. So on Thursdays, I would love for people to take turns and talk about their niche or teach us something or do a deep dive on a brand. You can even share your screen and just do a deep dive on a brand. You don't even really have to do a whole bunch of research ahead of time. Just jump in there and share with us. So Catherine decided to be our first participant in this, which I was really excited about. And she's going to teach us a little bit about core aesthetics for fall, which I think no matter what niche you're in, you would find this helpful for some keywords and stuff. So I'm going to spotlight Catherine and she can take it away.
Hello, hello, hello. All right, I'm going to talk about core aesthetics. And for those of you that aren't even familiar with what that is, core just kind of means basic. Aesthetic means style. So it's like the basic elements of a particular style. And they've been around for years. We've had goth, people know what preppy is, biker, vintage clothing is an aesthetic. But in the last couple of years, it's kind of just exploded into this millions of there's probably not millions. There's a lot. There's at least over 50 different kinds of core aesthetics, and a lot of them overlap. The styles overlap, which can be a little confusing. I'm not going to go over every single one of them, but I am going to go over the ones that I see cropping up the most. And if you want to go deeper into this, you can go to the Facebook group, and I posted some links there. It's in a Word document, so if it doesn't work, let me know and I can try to post it a different way. But you can explore on your own. I will give examples of what kind of style is included in each of these aesthetics. And I tried to include where I could shoe styles or jewelry styles or accessories, that kind of thing, for those of you that don't sell clothing. And also at the end, in true teacher fashion, I'm going to give you a quiz. Actually, you won't be graded, I promise. I'm just going to hold up some items that I have yet to post. And you can just kind of shout out what aesthetic you think it is. What would you use as a keyword just for practice? And I find myself that I go to my notes all the time for this. So some of the core aesthetics that are out there that I don't ever use, but they're there. Yes, I was going to give you homework, Becky. Cinnamon Girl is kind of a newer one. Clutter Core, where you just look like a really cluttered person. Not kidding, that's an aesthetic. Trad wife, where you fit into this patriarchy view of women and you are like the traditional wife. Clown core, enough said. And then there's core, like the core of all the cores, but there's no description of what that would include. There's frazzled English woman core. There's man eater. I don't use that one. There is mall goth, and we know goth, and there's other goths like whimsy goth, but there's also mall goth. Space girl. Kid core is kind of a new one where you basically dress like a child. Cyberpunk tomato girl, lots of red in that core, like the color of a tomato. Baddie, Baddie, like you're naughty. That's a core. I don't use any of those, but I will go over some of the ones I do use. And I should say at the beginning too, I have over 2,000 items in my store, half jewelry, half clothing. So at first, when I was learning about these aesthetics, I thought maybe I should like be changing all my titles to have some of these keywords in there so they would sell faster since some of them are so popular. And I started doing that, but that's a lot of items to change titles on or add keywords on. And I realized that because the aesthetics change so quickly, I don't want to have to go back 6 months from now and change grandma core to, Mimi core or something else. So I think if you come across an article of clothing or shoes or something and it strikes a note in your head like, oh, that is for sure fairy core, then put fairy core as a keyword. But you don't have to, in my opinion, you don't have to change every single title and try to come up with a core that fits whatever you're selling. Okay, so the first one is norm core. Norm core is just basically how I dress most days. Plain, simple, basic white, gray, black tees, flats for shoes, kind of dad hats if you're into hats, simple sweaters, nothing too elaborate, nothing too graphic. You kind of blend into the background, and that's norm core. So if you have an item that's just kind of plain basic and you want to fill out your title, you can use normcore. Art Ho is the second one. Yes, Art Ho, H-O, sometimes H-O-E. Yellow is the dominant color for Art Ho. It's lots of like painted designs, maybe a splatter pattern, embroidery that's different from what you would normally see, chunky sneakers, really interesting designs. There are even some vintage items that are like considered wearable art. You could use Art Ho for those as well. Coquette, Coquette is another one. Coquette is like really girly, really flirty. There's ruffles, there's flowers, there's bows, lace, frill, anything cute and also kind of flirty would be considered coquette. Ruffled skirts, silk scarves, dainty and feminine things, nothing that I would wear. Coastal cowgirl is really popular right now, and there's also coastal cowboy. So just think of Western and coastal that are combined. So you might have cowboy boots with a dress that has seashells on it. You might have puff sleeve dresses and then a suede vest over it with fringe. So beachy jewelry is popular in this. If you have like seashell jewelry, anything that reminds us of coast or the beach, you could use coastal cowgirl in that. The next one is mermaid core, and you guys can stop me anytime and interrupt if you have a question about any of the cores. Mermaid core is pretty much what it sounds like. If you dress like you're about to jump into the ocean and swim away, it is mermaid core. Blues, greens, iridescence. Oh, it's I didn't postal call girl. No, it's coastal cowgirl. But thank you for clarifying, Jamie. So mermaid core would be seashell necklaces, strappy midi dresses in blues and greens, anything with a scale print on it or fish print, backless tops, long maxi skirts that are kind of form-fitting would be in the mermaid core. Any questions so far? Okay.
Do you write it all out as one word? Like, is it coastal core, grandma core? Is there space in between? And then do you really need the core part, or do you just really need that first word?
I write it out as one. I don't always add the core part if I'm adding a lot of keywords and I'm going to run out of characters. I might just put whimsy goth instead of whimsy goth and then add core at the end. Or I might just put art or coquette instead of adding core. So it depends on how much room you're trying to fill out. Excellent question, Carrie. Thank you. All right. Old money. Old money is big right now. In the fashion industry right now, people are starting to move toward fancier clothing, luxury clothing. So this old money looks like you came from the Hamptons. It's luxury fabric. So cashmere would be in this, wool would be in this, satin, tailored blazers would be in this, pearls. So if you sell pearl necklaces, you could use old money. Loafers, like penny loafers, for sure, leather shoes. And it has just the standard colors like beige, black, gray, navy blue, nothing too out there. So it's a lot like quiet luxury, if you've heard that term. And you could use those terms probably interchangeably. You could use quiet luxury as well as old money. Regency core is coming up because, again, people are moving toward fancier clothing. They're starting to get into brooches more, yay, for those of us who sell jewelry. So Regency core, you want to think Bridgerton. If you have not seen that show, you might want to watch it to get some ideas, but it's fancy jeweled chokers, ruffles, pastels, things that have a lot of embroidery, layered necklaces, hair pieces, that kind of thing. Whimsy goth is really big right now, especially with Halloween coming up. Whimsy is whimsical, and goth, of course, is goth. Lots of black stuff, studded stuff, and it's a combination of those. So anything velvet would be included in this, and lace, velvet and lace combined, black leather and velvet and lace, long skirts, ruffled blouses because of the whimsy part. Patterned tights are starting to come up, and I just want to say, I hope we get back to wearing things over our legs when we wear a dress, because there are very few people that can pull off bare legs in the winter in Minnesota. you gotta, that's not attractive. So I'm hoping tights come back. So that's whimsy goth. If you come across in the bins a black kind of lacy crochet top that has like a flare sleeve, whimsy goth. Coastal grandma. Coastal grandma is you wear pearl necklaces, floral dresses, espadrilles for shoes, or flats or loafers. It's like wide leg pants with a cardigan sweater that you wear over your shirt, soft whites, tans. It can be quality fabrics. I'm trying to think of the actress that makes me think of Coastal Grandma. I can't think of her name. It'll come to me. And then Visco has been around for a long time. Visco is VSCO, but it's pronounced Visco. My dog's going to peep at me because she thinks she needs my attention. Come here. Come here. This would be white sneakers or Birkenstocks, tote bags, high-waist jeans, oversized t-shirts, seashell necklaces, denim shorts, puka necklaces, kind of basic. I just do my thing. I'm very casual, kind of aesthetic. There is now soft girl and soft boy aesthetics. So soft meaning the fabric is soft. So this would be cashmere, but it's also a romantic style. So, excuse me, men getting into their softer side with pastel colors. V-neck cardigans are big for men this fall. Sweater vests are big. Really cozy clothes, pleated skirts could fall into this category. So anything that's ultra romantic, soft looking, comfortable. Come here. Get up here and zip it. Come on. Come on. Sorry. Get up here. Come on. Come on. Come on. Excuse me a moment. This is Ruby. She's my little my little idiot who chased a cat yesterday. Say hi, Ruby. Out of our yard. And I had to go chase her through all of the neighbors' backyards. They don't know. Be good. Okay. Grunge. Think Billie Eilish. Mesh, plaid, flannels, combat boots would fit into this. Layered choker necklaces, layered bracelets, band tees, low-rise jeans, which aren't as popular anymore, but for grunge they are. Wide leg jeans would fit into this. Any kind of distressed denim, that would all be grunge. Cottagecore would be like a peasant or a prairie dress. Peasant tops with kind of the puffed sleeves or bell sleeves. Lots of florals, eyelet lace, anything with a pinafore in the shirt or the dress. Knitted sweaters, hand knit would fit into this. Delicate blouses. Just picture yourself out in the country and you have a lovely English garden and you're hanging clothes on the clothesline and bread is baking in your oven and the world is great. I am not a cottagecore person. Ballet core is pretty much how it sounds. Anything that you would wear if you were going to ballet class. So something with tulle, pinks, tights or leotards, twirly skirts, like the skater style skirts, any kind of warm-up outfit.
Good morning,
like
Nicole.
matching sweatshirt and sweatpants. Corset dresses would fit into this. Wrap tops, like you just got done with your workout and you need that Lululemon wrap top. That would be ballet core. Early 2000s is pretty much the same as Y2K. And probably the more common keyword to use would be Y2K. That's what a lot of people search for on eBay. So this includes crop t-shirts, anything with a logo on it. Logos are big for Y2K. Mini skirts. Yesterday I saw a vintage American Eagle pleated plaid mini skirt that sold for $122. Hobo bags. So the big bags are coming back this fall. Low-rise jeans, hoop earrings. Oh, the velour tracksuit. That would be Y2K. Any kind of rhinestone accessory would be good for Y2K. And then there's skater core. And when I was first learning the cores, I was using the term skater for some of those short mini twirly dresses, like an ice skater. That is not what skater core is. Skater core is skateboarding. So we call it skater core. Don't make the same mistake I did. So chunky sneakers would be good for this. Band tees, baggy jeans, beanies, cargo pants, Vans or DC shoes, sneakers would be good for this. Anything that you could see on somebody that's out at the skateboard park. There's also 90s, and I often use 90s, Y2K, and early 2000s together because there's a lot of overlap in those categories. 90s would be high waist jeans instead of low waist, but plaid skirts, slip dresses are really big right now. And what a slip dress is, for those of you that don't know, it's basically what we used to wear as a slip under a dress. And now you just wear it as a dress. So it's little straps and it's like a satin material and it's just a slip, but it's a dress. The midi length is what most people are going for. Bucket hats were big in the 90s, so any kind of bucket hat or strappy sandals would work for this. Twee, some people do search old money, yes. Twee is TWEE. Twee would be Peter Pan collars or really big, like white or lace collars. Colored tights. Think like Zooey Deschanel. What was that girl show she was in? That girl, it girl, something girl. I don't remember. Anyway, if you know Zooey Deschanel, kind of what she would wear. So full skirts, chic looking loafers or brogues or ballet flats for shoes. Casual dresses, cardigans are big for twee if they have some kind of pattern on it. So not a plain cardigan. It would have to have some kind of interesting design. E-girl is basically like somebody that's very techy. So black, full leather skirts, baggy jeans with chunky boots, hair clips, choker necklaces, lots of silver jewelry would fit into e-girl. Anything that's like black, gray, silver, edgy looking. So I have like this necklace. This could be sold as e-girl. This could also be goth. I'm almost done. There's academia. That's really big this fall. And there's dark academia and light academia. And it's basically dressing like you're going to Stanford in the old days. So you want plaids, pleated skirts, tailored pants, tailored blazers. Argyle patterns would fit into this. Any kind of vintage dress or soft blouses, turtlenecks, antique brooches would definitely fit into academia. The only difference between light and dark is if the clothes are lighter or darker. So if you have a cashmere turtleneck sweater, that would be light academia. If you have a dark brown one, that would be dark academia. That's the only difference. Fairy core is still pretty strong right now. Fairy core would be pastels, iridescent things, crochet tops, long skirts. Doc Martens would fit into fairy core. Greens and browns also fit into fairy core. Kind of think if you're out in the forest collecting mushrooms and there's little things with wings fluttering around you. Delicate jewelry would fit into this category. Anything with like a crystal pendant would work. Floral midi dresses would work. And you'll notice that with all of these categories, there's some overlap. Like a floral midi dress could work for fairy core, but it could also work for cottage core, and it could also work for early 2000s. So you can, if you need to fill up some space, you can use more than one just to try to draw in some interest. There is goblin or gremlin core. I hardly ever use that, but coming up to Halloween, maybe some of your stuff would sell more with that. But there's also moss core, but basically it's anything green or brown or earth tones. Brown leather belts, wide brown leather belts would fit into this. But it kind of also fits in with the fairy core, so I hardly use goblin or gremlin core. And then gorp core, GORP, is huge. That would be brands like Arc'teryx, Hoka for shoes, Solomon, REI, Patagonia, Briori probably. But Gorp Core is like you're outdoors, you're skiing, you're hiking, you're getting outside a lot. Puffer coats would fall into this, hiking boots, anything that kind of says outdoor gear, fleeces, cargo pants, anything with Gore-Tex material, fanny packs could be Gorp Core, crossbody bags, anything that has a hiking or a mountain theme would be Gorp Core. So, and all of these are changing. So I noticed some comments here like preppy is more mainstream, old money is a little bit different. It's just that people are using different terms now than just preppy. I would still use preppy. I still use preppy in some of my listings. But the current term is prepster. I don't know why we have to call it something different. It's just what it is. So you can use some of these terms interchangeably. You don't have to change every single listing, but I'm going to hold up some items and you guys can kind of tell me what aesthetic you think this is. This is a Angora blend cardigan sweater. It's vintage. Shout it out. Don't be shy. Unmute yourselves, people.
I list those as grandpa core.
About
This would
grandma
be
making cookies.
coastal grandma because it's blue. It's grandma, grandpa core. It could also be soft girl because it's a softer material and it's a solid color. Or soft boy. This one will be easy. It should be easy.
Eclectic grandpa.
Yep. Grandpa core. Men are loving these. If you could get them with the patch on the sleeve, on the elbow patches, those are big right now. Also, fisherman sweaters, which have a lot of the cable knit sweaters. If you use fisherman sweater, that's starting to rise in popularity.
Hey, Catherine, you talked about the elbow patches. Does that fall into the same thing when you're talking like flannels and things of that nature?
Yep.
Would that be considered eclectic grandpa stuff too?
Yep, that could definitely be. And it could also be if you have a sweater with the elbow patches, you could use preppy, you could use academia. What's this one? It's a tailored blazer with leather trim.
I remember you going over that style. Fitted, classic.
Old money.
It could be old money because it's wool. It could also be academia.
Yeah.
So think I'm on campus and I'm carrying my load of Shakespeare books and this one is a look that's been out there for a while that I didn't go over, but this is considered log and look. Log and look is anything with quality material, so organic cottons, linen, silk, and it's kind of oversized, loose fitting shirts, basic colors, no patterns. People are just kind of hiding in their clothes. To me, that's what it makes me think of. But log and look is still pretty popular.
So, Catherine, when you describe log and look, I immediately think of Eileen Fisher.
Yes, Eileen Fisher is very much log and look.
Okay, so I'll use that as kind of like the definition to be my guide.
Yep. And then I have like this blazer with the matching skirt. What would that be?
Old money again?
Say again?
Would that be old money again?
Yep, it could be old money. It could maybe even be Regency core because it's got a lot of embellishments on it. And it could be quiet luxury. It could also be academia, but light academia instead of dark academia. I'm going the wrong way. Okay, you are so annoying me. Not you guys. I have this vintage blazer with the leather buttons. What would that be?
Very nice.
Grandpa core, academia. You can also just use the word vintage in your title.
Would you use preppy for that too?
Yep. Preppy would be good. Here is a slip dress.
That's so
Now, this
crazy.
brand is A New Day, which I hardly ever pick up. That's a Target brand, I think. But it's new with tags and it's a slip dress. So it's basically a slip, but it's midi length. So do you remember what category slip dresses come under?
I will use goth.
You could use goth.
Gothic.
Whimsy goth I would use instead of just goth. Anybody else?
Slip dresses, goth.
Well, whimsy goth. Mhm.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, well, it could be, I'm looking, it could be ballet core, because it kind of looks like some of the ballet dresses, the longer ones that people wear. Ruby, stop. It could be 90s or Y2K, because slip dresses were big back then. You could maybe use quiet luxury if it was silk. I probably wouldn't use it for a New Day brand, but
Catherine, have you ever heard of emu?
yes.
That's what
Ugh.
all the kids in the high school are talking about, emu.
Yes. I don't really know how that reference started. If there's like a influencer named Emu, EMU, isn't it?
Yes.
I don't know much about it. I would have to look that one up.
But
I have seen it though.
it's kind of like goth, but also
Yeah,
like chains and black
edgy.
hair. Yeah, a lot of black.
Isn't emu a bird?
Yeah, I think you mean emo,
Emo.
Emo.
I think
Oh.
which has to do with
Oh,
Emo.
EMO.
and
Okay.
kind of dark and
Yeah.
depressed.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
what
gonna
I
use-
Yeah,
I'm
you
gonna
could use
I'm
e-girl
gonna
for
use
that.
this to stop the recording. So if anybody wants to join us on the other side,
Emu's from the 80s.
go to the Facebook group.